Let's spend some time on what's happening right now with the taking money out of bank accounts. They didn't just get 10%. They went ahead and took 40% or more out of people's bank accounts, and now they're saying they may do it Europe-wide, and this isn't even a big story now. It's just like, yeah, we're going to take your money and give it to big global mafia-run banks, and if you don't, and they're deploying troops on the streets, and I guess if they do that here, everybody will just say, thank you, here's all my money, and you're a terrorist if you think that's robbery.
Do you remember the good old days when you put money in the bank to be safe from the robbers?
Yes.
That's the robbers own the bank. You put your money in the bank and they take it. And what's amazing about it is that the European Union, just like the U.S. government, has a guarantee of depositors for less than if you have 100,000 or fewer euros. And they're going to take everyone's money, even those who are guaranteed by law. And you have to understand, when they talk about the government taking the money, the government doesn't get the money. What they're doing is they're sucking the money out of the bank account and literally giving it back to those same bank owners to pay off the bank bondholders, the speculators in the bank. In fact, in the original European plan that was secretly cut, they had literally these owners of these banded banks were not required to take a single penny of loss. They've been paying themselves massive salaries, massive dividends, sucking the money out to their cronies. They take the money out of your bank account and give it to the so-called investors. That's what they're doing. It's just beyond imagination.
What was the name of that? Guys, there's a copy of my book around here. It's out of print, but the digital copy's on prisonplanet.tv for members. But in my book, Descent into Tyranny, I forget the headline, but it broke down how they go and take your bank accounts and how they take over. And how they would then do it in the West and Europe, and because you got the documents. But punching that back up, punch that story back up, guys. I want to read this to Mr. Palast. Cyprus-style bail-ins are proposed in new 2013 Canadian government budget. They're also proposing it in Spain, Portugal, Greece, Italy. The head of the EU central bank's proposing it. I mean, they're getting ready to just take everybody's money and give it to private people. This is amazing, Greg.
And not just any people. The number one beneficiary is a guy named Paul Singer. He runs what's called a vulture fund. He's the Uber vulture. He bought up a bunch of Greek bonds for next to nothing, about 20 cents on the dollar of value. And then he asked for 200% of their face value. So the guy's looking at something like a 2,000% profit. And he says, and why does he get the money? Because he also is one of the biggest donors to the political parties. And by the way, he's the number one funder of gay marriage rights. His son is married to a guy and lives in London. So so when you're asked, you got to put these things together, Cyprus and gay marriage, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of libertarian on this. You want to marry whoever you want. I don't care. It's none of my business.
But it is a total football issue.
But it is being used to cover up the real steal. And this guy, Paul Singer, for example, everyone is praising him on all my good liberal left friends are praising him.
Well, no, I mean, you could take everybody, widows and janitors' bank accounts and give it to him as long as he likes gay people.
That's right. As long as his son is allowed to marry a boy, that's okay. And he's all for it.
Well, I mean, they're getting us to obsess over, like we better pay for people to have sex changes instead of, hey, can we not give $85 billion a month to private banks?
Right. So it's circus, bread and circus. I got attacked by my liberal friends, which are most of my readers, for saying that Alex Jones is one of the most substantive programs on subject matter on the air. And yet, what do you think Rachel Maddow is going to be talking about tonight? It's all
gay marriage, but we're not. Let's come back and give you the floor on the banking crisis, where you see it going, and how to stop them. Greg Palast.